There are some hilarious inventions that have enriched our lives and that we consider to be great. These great inventions are the automobile, planes, cell phones, shoes, and things like that. Then there are some inventions that are really weird and you wonder why they were invented to begin with, such as motorized roller skates. Before we begin this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more daily tips like this and turn on notifications so you never miss our new videos. Number 20, the Aqua Bike. This Aqua Bike was invented in Paris in 1932. This bizarre invention was built to cycle on land or through water. We're not sure why someone would want to cycle through water, which is why this bizarre invention never stood a chance. Not only were people not interested in cycling through water, but for people who weighed more than 120 pounds, the bike couldn't support you anyway. Number 19, Motorized Surfboard. For those of you who don't know how to surf, this might have been the perfect weird invention for you. There used to be a motorized surfboard that would require no surfing knowledge to operate. All you would have to do is stand up straight and let the motor do the work. Number 18, Tiny Feet Boat. There was a rubber boat that had boots sticking out of them for your feet. This might be one of the weirdest inventions on the list. We can only think of one specific group of people who would enjoy this invention, and those are people who fly fish. Though this tiny boat wouldn't be used today, they would enjoy the history of this strange invention. Number 17, Human Radar. This weird invention was built in 1940 to detect enemy sounds. We understand that it was built to hear your enemy, but if your enemy was close by, wouldn't this signal them that humans were there? We are starting to realize why this invention didn't quite catch up. Number 16, TV goggles. In 1963, inventor Hugo Gernsback invented TV goggles. This bizarre invention would allow people to watch their favorite TV shows individually, instead of having to share one TV screen amongst a family. These goggles weren't the most fashionable way to watch TV, but we have to admit that Gernsback was ahead of his time. If you think about it now, we're all doing this, only we're doing it on our phones. Number 15, old school rollerblades. When we think of roller skating, we think of the four-wheeled skates or blades we have today. But there were other rollerblades that were invented decades before. Look at how huge the wheels are on those things. Never seen anything like them. Number 14, snow masks. If you live in a climate that gets intense winter storms, then you will enjoy this weird invention. In Canada in 1939, someone invented these snow masks to protect people's faces. We can't help but notice how intense these masks looked. We are thankful that we now have ski masks to do this job, and we don't have to worry about poking someone's eye out. Number 13, pedestrian-proof cars. People in 1920s France were worried about the invention of the automobile. They believed that the cars would run pedestrians over. Due to this, French manufacturers made this strange net catcher for the fronts of the automobiles. When a car ran into a pedestrian, they would be scooped into this big net instead of being run over. Number 12, death chamber baby cages. These bizarre baby cages were a thing in the 1930s London. Baby cages were attached to tenement windows as a way for babies to get fresh air. We can't help but think of the danger these babies were in if one of these cages happened to break. It's no wonder we don't see any of these around nowadays. Number 11, heated police vests. In the United States in 1932, there were police vests that included electricity to keep the police warm. In order to supply electricity to the vest, inventors had to install electrical contacts in the pavement of the street below. So these traffic police were actually taken away from doing their jobs because they needed to plug themselves in whenever they felt cold. It's no wonder this invention didn't last. Number 10, wooden bathing suits. wooden bathing suits were released in the United States in 1929. We can't help but think this weird invention would have caused a lot of splinters to happen for people who bought them. We guess the thought process back then was the same as it is now. Style over comfort. Number 9, reading sunbed. A lot of us like to read when we are suntanning on the beach or in the backyard on a suntanning chair. A problem always arises when we are giving our back some sun because we're unable to sit properly and read. There was an invention back in 1964 that helped with this problem, yet, for some reason, it never caught on. Number 8, shower hoods. When we think of keeping our perm intact when in the shower, we think of a shower cap, but back in the day, they had a weird invention called the shower hood. This shower hood would go completely over a person's head to not ruin their hairdo. Thankfully, this strange invention didn't last. Number 7, baby suspender. These baby suspenders were one bizarre invention in London, England. This is a pretty strange way to carry your children around, especially while on ice. If one of these parents fell, then their baby would also suffer damage. We're happy to say this invention didn't last. Number 6, the Fliz. German designers Yuri Spetter and Tom Hambrock invented the bicycle by removing nearly everything that makes a bicycle. In doing so, they made this bizarre invention called the Fliz. In order to operate this invention, you need to strap onto it and start running. You can pick your legs up when you feel the wheels can operate on their own. But once the speed slows down, you need to run again. Talk about a workout. Number 5, hideous life preservers. Some of the weirdest inventions in the world are also pretty hideous, including this one. When we think of life preservers today, we think of the bright and bulky life vests. These life preservers looked different back in the day. Erbo.com states that in 1925 Germany, life preservers looked more like bicycle tires being strapped around humans. Number 4, biking baby carriage. In the 1920s, there were bikes with baby carriages attached to them. Could you imagine the amount of leg muscle this woman must have needed to get this bike to move? Our guess is she had a lot of strength within her to do something like this. We also understand why many of these might have not sold, which led it to not being around today. Number 3, one-wheeled motorcycle. This bizarre invention was built in 1931 by Italian mechanic M. Gaventosa. We think the reason this invention didn't take off was that it's scary enough to drive a motorcycle with 2 wheels, let alone 1. People probably felt safer being on a unicycle than on a one-wheeled motorcycle. Number 2, finger fork. There is a new invention taking the dining world by storm, and that bizarre invention is the finger fork. This invention works exactly how you think it does. You stick your finger into the fork and then proceed to eat with it. If you're interested in not holding your fork, but rather the fork being an extension of your finger, then this bizarre invention is for you. Maybe it'll pick up, or maybe it'll die out. Now, here is one bonus funny invention that was clearly made from a tight budget. Toothbrush hack. Missing some teeth? Well, you will love this hilarious invention if you do. Try cutting out a slot in your toothbrush. You'll be left with a perfect-sized gap and will avoid scrubbing your gums. This invention seems pretty ridiculous, but for those of you who have kids who have missing teeth, it might just be a perfect hack. Or, if you're the hockey player type and have had a few teeth knocked out in your lifetime, this may just be for you as well. What do you think was the weirdest invention from this video? Let us know in the comments section below. Enjoyed this video? Hit like, share, and subscribe to What the Facts. Wait, why don't you fact off with these other awesome videos? Go ahead, choose the left or the right video and enjoy.